Hey guys, welcome to Living with a Supercar 6-month update, and today I'm going to be reviewing my Audi R8 V8. The last time that I reviewed my car, I made sure that it was stock. It was silver, it had the 19-inch Audi 5-spoke wheels, it had a stock exhaust system, and there was no power upgrades. Not that there's a power upgrade now, but this video is going to be, will try and be as factual as possible, comparing it to what it was like when it was stock compared to now. First things first, let's talk about the wheels. These are Projex Design's own wheels. They're the only ones in the world. They're 20-inch and they're absolutely fantastic when they're clean. At the moment, they're absolutely filthy because I haven't washed my car, and trust me, I'm going to a car wash as soon as I finish with this video. So the wheels make the car look absolutely amazing. We fitted the wheels before we fitted the wrap or the exhaust system, and it really made the car stand out when it was silver. I'm going to be putting some footage in of when the car was silver with the wheels, because it did look absolutely fantastic. Moving on to the wrap, which is probably the most noticeable eyesight point that you get to see with the car. Definitely didn't make sense, eyesight point. Anyway, this is by far the most noticeable customization that I've done with the car. Kit Customs did the wrap, and I went for the Ironman theme, which I designed on Forza way before that I bought the car, so that's a sort of a history behind why I picked Ironman. Tony Stark had a silver Audi R8 with the carbon side blades, just like how my car started off. So that was the idea behind why I wanted to wrap it Ironman. And it also personified the car, and there's lots of people out there that have seen it and hashtag Team Ironman and things like that, which is absolutely incredible. And to be honest, when it first got wrapped with the gold front bumper and bonnet for Gumball 3000, I fell in love. I just thought that it was the best Audi R8 out there. And since the gold has come off the bonnet, I've definitely felt like we've lost a little bit of the Ironman-esque style to it. So it's going to get rewrapped, and we're in the process of picking a colour, which is going to be really exciting. So let's have a look inside and check out the interior. So inside, I have not touched a single thing. It's still black leather, quite old black leather, which we're going to be looking to refurbish very soon, and it's still got a lot of carbon fibre. The carbon fibre pack is a very expensive optional extra on the Audi R8, and when I bought the car back in April, that's what it came with, and I thought that it was absolutely amazing until I took it down to Audi in Watford. And one of the things that they said was the older these cars get and the bigger bass that you decide to put up on the audio system, this starts to rattle, which I've noticed, which is quite an annoying little flaw. So you're having to turn the bass down, which is a bit of a shame. I would love to show you the Audi audio system, but unfortunately the copyright on YouTube would mean that I couldn't play any songs that I've got on my CD, and I don't particularly want to record a hit tune from my own voice for you guys to listen to. So inside is fairly messy. I'll take out the mat for you so you can see that I generally haven't cleaned it in a long time. So there we go. That's like half of a field, so I'm going to get rid of that. So, like I said, the interior hasn't changed one single bit. So we've touched upon the wheels, which are an amazing addition to the car. We talked about the wrap. The last thing that we need to talk about is the Trix exhaust system. Now, a lot of you would have seen loads of videos that I did of me blasting through tunnels and everything few and far in between, and showing off the amazing Trix exhaust system. Now, there's lots of exhaust systems out there that are made from stainless steel and titanium, but when I heard Trix on the Audi R8, I knew that was the exhaust system that I had to have. So let's start it up for another time on Supercars of London. You've heard this a lot, but when we're talking about reviewing this car, I started with stock, which was incredibly quiet. Just going to turn the speakers down so you literally can't hear. So here we go. And this is the remote that you can turn it off. Oh, it's already off. So that was off. So it has a huge difference in exhaust tone, especially, I'm going to turn the valves off, and I'm actually going to turn it off so that you can hear me. The Trix exhaust system is a huge addition to the car and probably the most noticeable when driving. So let's go for a drive and I'll talk to you about what it's like to drive this car with the 20-inch wheels, the new wrap, and also the exhaust system, comparing it to when I bought it 6 months ago. So now I'm in the pilot seat of the Audi R8 V8. It's 420 brake horsepower, and to start things off, let's talk about the sort of power increase and weight reduction that we get with the Trix exhaust. There's definitely some sort of statistics that have been put out there saying that there's 20 to 25 brake horsepower increase, but the most noticeable thing that you get with the exhaust system is the weight reduction. It's made from stainless steel, and compared to the stock exhaust system, it is ridiculous. I don't think I could pick up the stock exhaust system with two hands, whereas the Trix, you can pick it up with one hand. You could do sort of whatever you want with it. It's so light, very, very well made. So it was a huge enhancement for me, and it was a really big deal for me as well with the exhaust system. I think every supercar needs to have an aftermarket exhaust system, and the great thing is about the fact that how loud this system is, you can't really hear it now because the valves are off. But as we're first at the lights, why not turn the valves on and talk to you about what the acceleration of this car is like. Whether the cameraman's going to hold the camera steady when the light goes green is another matter. So I'll put the window down so you guys get to hear it. I won't do 100% full throttle, I'll just go. Always brings a smile to my face, it always gets the blood pumping. And it's just an amazing experience to be able to have that sort of power at your disposal, which is a really cool. Okay. It's not even 100% throttle, and everyone else behind is about 50, 75 yards behind us. So the power of the Audi R8. Now that I've had it for 6 months, when I first got the car, I was blown away by how fast it was. Now that I've had it for 6 months, I've definitely got a lot more accustomed to driving this car, and there's parts of me, and there's definitely times whilst I'm driving that I'd like a little bit more power, but I can't be too picky because I'm driving this amazing car. Talking about the handling, it's still exactly the same as before. We haven't really done too much to it. We did lower it, Projex did lower it with the wheels, which was a fantastic look of the car, but unfortunately it affected the car's driving a bit too much, and I'll chuck in some action from Gumball 3000 when we were on the motorway for you guys to see. It was not the greatest suspension, but that's by no means a problem. We just put the stock suspension back on and away we went, and now it's back on the stock suspension and rides beautifully. Now the valves are shut and you get a really nice high-pitched F1 tone to it, nothing like the stock from the Audi R8 of 6 months ago. One thing that changed massively and dramatically when I had the car wrapped was the amount of people that looked at the car. When it was silver, it did blend in very nicely, and you could almost get away with not many people noticing that you were driving past them. Whereas now, it's in the red and gold, and maybe the next wrap as well will be very standout and unique. But a lot of people do recognise that you're driving a loud car, a bright coloured car, and you get a lot of looks on the motorway when you're driving along, when school finishes, things like that. It definitely gets a lot of attention, and that was the main reason why I wanted to buy a supercar. I wanted to make people's day. Every time I saw a supercar in the wild, it was always nice to see, and it put a smile on my face. So now that I've got one, I wanted to do exactly the same thing to all of the car fans out there like me that love seeing fast, loud and good looking cars, and the Audi R8 ticked all of those boxes after I put the exhaust system on and after I wrapped it. So we're going to try and find some bendy roads, talk about the handling, because it is a heavy steering car, and the handling is brilliant. 6 months ago I wouldn't even think about turning the traction control off, and to be honest now I only think about it because I want to try it. I don't think about it and going, I know what I'm going to do, turn the traction control off and really get used to the car's handling. The one thing that I have learned about turning the traction control off is that the car definitely feels a lot more direct and a lot more that you're in control. I'm going to turn the traction control off now. Hopefully we won't end up in a bush. But the good thing is about this car is it's four-wheel drive. It's got the Quattro system, which is 70% to the rear and 30% to the front, which I probably mentioned in the first review. But with the traction control on and you're coming out of a turn quite heavy on the throttle, which in some instances I do because I want to get my foot down and open up those exhausts, it does hold back, and you do feel like, I think you're zooming in, cameraman, it does hinder the performance and acceleration of the car when you've got the traction control on. But when you've got it off, the steering feels a little bit lighter, you feel like you're more nimble on the road, you can move around a bit more. So this is now with the traction control off, there's definitely a lot more give in the way that you steer with the car, and when you go around a corner you definitely feel like you're in 100% control, which I definitely want to learn about as I'm learning about this car. 420 brake horsepower, it's not silly, it's not 900 brake horsepower, 1000 brake horsepower, anything like that. So it's manageable power, and I think that was one of the main reasons why I bought this car from my first supercar. Was it is my first supercar. I'm not going to jump into a £250,000 700 brake horsepower Lamborghini Aventador. I wish I could, but I'd probably end up in a coffin. So the traction control's off, and as you're coming round corners you can really try and hit the apex as well as possible. I'm no driver, I'm not at all saying that I'm a good driver, but this car does make it very fun when you do drive compared to my Vauxhall Astra that I had not so long ago. So come around the corner. The ground quickly. The way this car covers ground is unbelievable. For 420 brake horsepower, it's got a top speed of 187 miles an hour according to Google, and we definitely didn't go anywhere near the top speed. I think we just about hit the speed limit, so it does get to the speed limit very, very quickly. The only problem is at low speeds, because the steering is so heavy and it's four-wheel drive, it does make it difficult to maneuver, which is not a fault, because when you're at good speeds the handling is fantastic and you can really throw it around corners and enjoy the car. So as an overall package, 6 months down the line from owning this car, the one thing that I would say that's probably the only negative that can't be resolved with a quick acceleration or anything like that is maybe the lack of power that it has. And I mean, I'm sitting behind a V8, 4.2 litre V8 that's got 420 brake horsepower, but the things like Ferrari 458s and the 650Ss and the sort of the next level of supercar, which I'm continuously looking at and trying to reach towards, is something that I definitely strive for and would love to own as my second supercar. So maybe I'll do a my second supercar series on YouTube in 12 to 18 months. Maybe. Don't hold me to that. But overall, this car is absolutely fantastic, and it does everything that I wanted it to do. When I did my first supercar with Premier Velocity, I had a set checklist of everything that I wanted, and with the slight alterations that I've done and the customizations that I've done with the help of Projex, Kit Customs, Army Trix, and everyone else that's sponsored on the car, made the car look like a race car, it's definitely turned into my dream car. I will never forget owning an Audi R8. I don't think anyone who has one ever will. It's a lot of fun to drive, traction on, traction off, engine light on, engine light off, whatever. It doesn't matter. This car puts a smile on my face, and everyone that's been in the passenger seat has put a smile on theirs. And I remember saying in the first Audi R8 review that I did, if you get the chance to drive this car, do it and don't hold back, because it is so much fun, an amazing car, and I'll probably give it 4 out of 5 star in my own ratings. There's no sort of, I don't know what's 5 out of 5 star, and I don't know what's 1 out of 5 star, but this car gets 4. It's got an amazing set of pros, and it's got some small cons that also don't make it a perfect car. But is there really a perfect car out there? If you think that there is a perfect car, let me know in the comment box, and I look forward to seeing you next week on Living with a Supercar 6 months update, when we will be covering, I have no idea because we haven't filmed it yet. So make sure that you subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Now that I've had the car for 6 months, I've been definitely getting accustomed to how much money you have to spend to keep this car on the road, which is actually a lot more expensive than I was expecting.